Let's talk about Hitler.
That'll make sense later.
I'm immaculately conceived.
I don't know what to do.
I swear I'm not stupid.
Take it or leave it. Sometimes you just want to leave it.
If I gotta borrow my mom's underwear, I'm borrowing her underwear.
You just, yeah.
Misa likes the Jar Jar Binks.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like I think I'm just pretty great. Just staying on the
Sucks to
planet.
suck.
Why are you saying it with a question mark?
Clap, bitch.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
And we're live. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is Why Are You Yelling? Welcome back to another regular episode of Why Are You Yelling?
What is happening?
Yeah, we were just sitting here talking about Coachella
We were.
before we started rolling, and about Justin Bieber.
Yeah, so Justin Bieber. So for those who don't know, Billie Eilish was a huge believer. And there was a moment with her and Justin Bieber at Coachella many years ago, and it was super cute. But anyway, so this is like the first time Justin Bieber's performed in God knows when, this year at Coachella. And Billie Eilish was brought on stage when he was singing One Less Lonely Girl. It was super cute. And anyway, Hailey Bieber's the one that was like, go, 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 you know, pushing Billie to go on stage, and it was super cute. And I was saying that I think Hailey Bieber looks like she gives really good hugs.
Mm.
And like, I bet you she smells really good. And I bet you she gives amazing hugs. Like
She looks like she gives like empathetic hugs, like a good solid like.
I feel like I'm gonna feel her whole body when I hug her, and to be
she's
honest,
gonna like give a little squeeze.
yeah,
like, yeah.
I can't stand when someone hugs me and they do this number where like they're like bent in, or like they just don't want their legs or their torso or any of this
It's
to
like
touch
a limp,
you.
like a limp hug.
It's just like just my shoulders can touch you, and I'm like, what the fuck's the deal here?
Yeah.
Are you? If you're gonna hug me, hug me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like.
Like we need hip to shoulder. Needs to touch.
Yeah, I like. We should be like this hugging.
We should be embracing.
Yeah, like I don't like the.
Some people have a thing about hugging people that they're not in either
That's-
directly related to or like in relationships
That's a side
with.
hug.
Yeah.
Or like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hugging etiquette.
I'm not gonna hug someone I don't want to hug. I guess you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I mean, to a degree.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not as you know, I'm not a big hugger.
Yeah.
Like, just in general, like we don't hug. I don't know that we've ever hugged.
No.
I don't think ever.
I think we tried to start hugging when Lauren moved to Atlanta,
Yeah.
but we just hug her now,
Yeah.
and we hug Sierra because we never see them.
We hardly ever see them, but I
Yeah.
see you all the time. So, but yeah, no, like I hug my like immediate family. Like,
Yeah.
even, honestly, I don't even hug my brother. Like my younger sister,
Mhm.
my niece, my mom, grandparents, aunt. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
I hug all my immediate family. Like when I go visit, like I mean, I will like embrace my brother, like my older brother. I will just like hold because I'm like,
Oh my God. We went out to eat for my brother's birthday like a little over a month ago. And at the end, he was like, just started hugging people. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, we're doing it. And I'm like, okay, why though? And I'm like, this is weird. Why are we hugging? We
Aw.
never hug. And I was like, you're feeling in like a sappy sort of mood, but okay.
yeah, that's sweet.
It was sweet.
It's so cute. Okay, guys. So hug etiquette. Let us know how you feel about hugs.
Yeah.
Next.
Next topic. Great transition.
Yeah.
So we have started doing a question of the episode on our
Mhm.
normal episodes of Why Are You Yelling?
Yeah.
And today I want to ask,
Okay.
what is a conversation you think more people need to have?
Okay. I was having issues. We had a debrief before. I think we as maybe a society then discussion, we need to have the conversation that like we have to allow people the actual room to grow
Mm-hmm.
and to be better people instead of holding people to this one thing that they did one time, or even a behavior, even a thing in their life. Like we can't be these like you called it something good earlier, like moral grandstanding or whatever, where it's like we don't have to be the morality police 24/7 about every single thing that every person has done ever, famous or not famous or whatever, even to people in your life. You have to, I feel like we need to have this conversation of holding people accountable doesn't mean you never let them forget it.
Mhm.
It means you have to give people the ability to grow. Otherwise, you're the reason they're stunted.
Mm-hmm.
Like there comes a point where the accountability police becomes the reason people can't grow.
And they can't change.
Yeah, because you don't allow them to.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like that's a really big issue. So we should be discussing this.
Yeah.
It's not okay. It's weird.
I think that, in that same vein, we should be allowing people to ask questions and to have conversations.
Yeah. And also, like we should allow people. So if you're like, if somebody does something, right, and they want to understand it deeper of like, well, why is that bad?
Mm-hmm.
Why did this upset people? Well, what about it is, if someone's trying to dissect why what they did is wrong, I think we have to be grown enough to answer those questions so they better understand, rather than you don't get to ask. It's just stupid and you should know. Like, that's not an actual.
Or there's a thing called Google. It's like, bitch.
Like, it's not, none of this is constructive and none of this is actually good. Because
you're just trying to be like the gotcha people. It's like, gotcha, found something that you did that wasn't perfect or it's problematic, and now I got you.
Yeah.
I can feel morally superior.
Yeah. Like, I just feel like we have to have the discussion of, there comes a point where holding people accountable so harshly or whatever people think they're doing is actually the reason people like can't move on or grow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think.
So the conversation I think more people need to be having has more to do with interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
So I think that if two people, before they get married, before they decide to have children, they need to have conversations about what that is going to look like and how they're going to behave in those roles, right?
Exactly.
So I think too many people are taking marriage too lightly and entering into marriages before fully having conversations about what they expect from their marriage, what they expect it to look like, how they expect their partner to behave, what roles they expect their partner to fulfill, and what they want to fulfill. So many people talk about like traditional marriages versus non-traditional, and gender roles and within marriages and relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fine if that's what you want and what your partner wants.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
I'm not about this like people should do whatever they want whenever they want, and if you're holding them down, then you're oppressive. Like, no. What you want from a relationship and what your partner wants from a relationship, like, you need to talk about it. And now I think too many people are like, we love each other and that's enough to make it work, and we're gonna get married because we love each other. And I'm like, I love that you love each other. I really think people need to be having more intense conversations before they enter into marriage about what they want their partnership to look like and what they want their marriage to look like. And let me caveat here that I know that not everyone who has a child planned to have that child. Mm-hmm. I'm aware that people get pregnant without intending to. Some people don't take appropriate measures to prevent pregnancy while engaging in behaviors that could result in a pregnancy. Like, I'm aware of that. I know that not everyone gets a choice in that matter.
Double caveat, also aware. It's so annoying because you shouldn't even have to have caveats like this, where obviously we know there are some people who do not want to have children and did not want to have sex that also end up having children.
Yes.
We're not talking about these people.
Yes. This does not apply to those scenarios.
No.
I'm talking about when people decide they want to enter into a relationship and then they want to bear offspring or raise children together. I think that they need to be having conversations about how they're going to parent and how they want to raise their children.
Exactly.
Again, there's a lot of different ways to raise a child, and people should be free to do that how they want to do that. I'm not here to say what you should or shouldn't do. There's a couple things that I think are pretty common sense. But, when we get into the details about like disciplining your child or the morals and values you want to instill and how you want to do that, and if you want to raise them within a certain religion or not, whether there's certain things you want to teach them and, within your household, like all of that is personal and dependent upon your, like, do what makes you happy and what you want to do. But before you decide to have children with somebody, maybe y'all should have that conversation. I think more people need to talk about how they want to raise their children and the ways that they want to discipline them and the values that are the like top tier number one. Like, I need a list of top 5 values you want to instill in our children and why, and let's talk about it and figure out what's the most important. Because there will come a time at some point when you're raising your child that some of these things are like, there's some friction between like, well, my child made this choice and now I have to figure out how I want to discipline them. But then like, you have to try and teach them some lessons and guide them. And some of those things, there could be friction. And I think that too many people take, again, too lightly that they're just like, okay, we're going to get married and we're going to have children and we're not going to discuss beforehand how we're going to approach that and how we're going to do that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think not only that, it's if you were to have those conversations beforehand and then you get to a point where you have to discipline your child, it's like that's something you and your partner should be like, okay, this is how you feel about it. I agree. So that way, when you get to that point and you have a child and it's time to discipline them, you're not having the mom or the dad basically putting the other parent down for trying to discipline said child about a behavior that to them might not be a big deal, but to the other parent it is. And that's very confusing to the child. And it's also going to be how they decide to treat other, like, that's honestly, that's gonna, if you have a daughter who constantly has a mom that's putting her husband down, that daughter's probably gonna have an attitude about men. Same exact thing if the dad's always putting the mom down, the daughter's gonna have like a low self-esteem and then is constantly looking for like just attention in men that she shouldn't be. Same thing with the son. The children observe all of these things. This is why we have so many fucking issues now, is because people who don't need to be procreating together because they don't share the same morals and values are instilling nothing into their children besides confusion. And that's why we're all fucked up. So I agree. It's just like, no, there's not enough people supporting each other parenting. Like the moms and dads aren't supporting each other. And it's so confusing. Like it's the biggest pet peeve of mine when I see or hear a mom or a dad put the other parent down in front of that child, like when they're still married, obviously, like they're in a household together. And I'm like, in what world? Like, in what world is that appropriate?
Never. Because I believe that parents should present a united front to the child. But the only way that you're going to be, and whether you disagree about things, that's behind closed doors.
Yes.
And that's not to say you can't ever have a disagreement in front of your child, because I do think that it is healthy if the parents know how to have a disagreement and work through it. I think it is healthy for a child to see that.
100%.
But again, the optimal words here being that having a healthy disagreement and a healthy discussion of how to work through it. If you don't know how to do that, if your version of having a discussion and working through a problem with your significant other in front of your child involves yelling, screaming, name calling, putting them down, anything like that, then obviously you can't do that. But I think it is, if you can model healthy problem solving and interpersonal relationship behavior in front of your children, by all means, have that discussion in front of them.
Yeah.
But for the most part, in general, I feel like a lot of people don't know how to do that.
No.
And to stay calm when you're having a disagreement, especially in front of children.
Exactly.
I feel like most of that you need to have behind closed doors. And again, a lot of this would be prevented if people just had the tough conversations before they got into these positions where they're then having to argue about things.
Yeah. And I just don't know that enough people with the same morals and values, or how are entering relationships, are having children. It's like people just think that whatever they think love is, like a strong emotional pull to a person, that means that's love and it's worth something,
and that's going to be a successful relationship.
It's like I think it's interesting because people, I think, have this like idea about love that like if you've loved somebody, that means that there's substance there because you felt love, and that means it's important in this like higher power type way, because if the relationship wasn't important, then why would you ever love them? And I'm like, I think that we have to stop over romanticizing every single relationship we've ever had in our life to think, oh, well, I love this person and love's enough. It's not. Love's not always enough, because just because you might love someone enough to want to work on things, that person, just because they say they love you, you're actually not them, and they might not, and probably don't, love you enough. Like, I think love's not like equal. When people say, I love you too, that I love you too does not mean I love you in the same way you love me.
Yes.
And that's just not what it is. So
I think too many people, like you said, I agree that they romanticize the notion of love and what it actually means within from in a day-to-day like sort of aspect. Like I think too many people confuse lust and infatuation for love.
Yeah.
When I think that love is a choice. I think that love is choosing every single day that the person that you're with, or even outside of a romantic context, even just in your other relationships with siblings or parents or friends, loving them is a choice every single day to put, it's like to make the choices you think are going to benefit them and you, like in relationship to like each other, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's too confusing, but like, I mean, in terms of like, you know, you show up for people when they need you, or you show up for people just because if they have a function or an event, or if they have an achievement or some sort of like thing that they're doing, like you should be involved. And loving someone is making the choice to show up. And like loving someone is making the choice to have tough conversations, because you're making the choice to be with them. I mean, love is not, what is it? Love is patient.
Love is patient. Love is kind.
Love is kind. Love is not this, like, it's not wispy and like insubstantial.
Yeah.
It's like solid. And I think too many people confuse lust and infatuation with love. And again, to me, it comes back to people not taking things seriously enough and not taking the time and putting in the effort of having the tough conversations to really figure out what things are and how they're going to be with each other.
And I think too, though, people think that like, because they love someone, you know, this emotional pull to a person where you feel intertwined with them and you want to be around them and you know you love them, right? But I don't think enough people understand that feeling feeling that feeling is not enough to make the other person feel loved. That's not what makes them feel loved. How you feel about them internally is not what externally validates to the other person that they're loved by you.
You can't just say, I love you and mean it and that be enough for them to feel loved.
No, it's like, no, you have to show up for them. You listen to them. You make them feel safe and you make them feel seen. You have to externally validate how you internally feel about them. And that's not enough people do that. And I just think that's why you even have like loving relationships fall apart, because they think, well, I internally feel this way. Why don't they know that? Because because you feel a type of way inside does not mean that it's reflected to everybody else in the room.
And again, that comes back to having those conversations. Yes. It comes back to talking about your feelings.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, good. So let us know what, for our question of the episode, what conversations do you think more people should be having? Let us know in the comments.
Yes. Now, back to our list.
Yeah. So in the last several episodes, we have been going through this list. It's called 31 Hard to Hear Things That Would Have Revolutionized My 20s. We're making our way through the list. And today we're going to go through numbers 16 through 20. And we're just talking about the points that are on this list, whether we agree or disagree. And yeah. So number 16, delete the calorie tracking app.
No. I won't be doing that.
Absolutely not.
I won't be doing that. I think that we all reach a point where we were probably doing it too much. And then I think we reach a point where we're like, fuck it, it's not healthy. Actually, it's only unhealthy if you make it unhealthy. Like at the end of the day, science exists. And if you're overweight, you need to be in a calorie deficit if you're trying to lose weight. Like that's just the science behind it. That doesn't mean you can choose to eat substantial, yummy food that gives your body nutrients and also, you know, be under a calorie deficit in your macros. And so I just am like, no, I won't be deleting that. And I don't think that's healthy advice to people who will I don't think it's healthy advice to basically tell people, hey, delete it. Don't worry about it. Just how are you feeling? I don't think
eat what you want whenever you want.
As long as you can eat better and just feel good. I actually don't think that's good enough advice, considering people may have also health issues that they're trying that's due to weight or what they're putting in their bodies. And I think that I think being able to track it is a good way to know that you have made progress and you can reflect on it and feel good about it. I think the issue is we have to change what people, like when you hear calorie deficit, you're like, oh, let me go eat 4 lean cuisines or something. Like you need to eat food that has nutrients in it that's still healthy for you. And you can still do that and it not be a 2,000 calorie like single meal. I think it's such a lazy piece of advice of, you don't need to track this. Well, you actually don't. That maybe you don't, but I don't think that's good advice to give to other people.
Yeah, I agree. I think that calorie tracking apps are just tools, and the tools are only as functional and good and useful as you make them.
Yeah.
Right. So a hammer is a great tool if I know how to use a hammer and I use it appropriately. It's a great tool if I use it to hammer in nails. It's not a great tool if I use it to like beat myself up or to hurt other people. Right.
Yeah.
So a tool's only as functional and useful as you make it.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, I get the point of what this is trying to get at, which is that so much of like your 20s, especially for women, can be focused on what you look like and how other people perceive you, and that focusing so much on your image and your body image and your weight in particular, and tracking your food so intensely can lead to some unhealthy behaviors. I get the point that they're trying to get at, but I just don't think, like, there's been other things on this list that I'm like, oh no, that's more applicable to like people across the board. This feels very pointed and not like a good general piece of advice for like your health and happiness.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that if you are obsessed with a calorie tracking app to the point that like you're restricting your food and like it's all you think about, and like you get stressed out if you forget to log something in your app, and like you're consumed with like guilt or shame for not doing it, like that's not the app's fault. That's a whole other problem that you're having. And I think that whether you have the app or not, you're still going to feel some of those feelings. You're just it's going to be redirected in a different way.
Yeah.
So that's other shit you got to work through. So yeah, I agree. I don't love that piece of advice. I disagree.
No.
Yeah. So number 17, life is way too short to spend it waiting for the next time you'll allow yourself to eat.
Say that one more time.
Life is way too short to spend it waiting for the next time you'll allow yourself to eat. So basically being like, life is too short to be so focused on food and the next time you're going to eat food.
I mean, she's saying like, if you want to eat, like don't.
Yeah.
This is so she's got some type of, her 20s.
This person who made this list was clearly going through some eating issues, I think.
I think if you're hungry, that's different than eating when you're bored.
Yes.
Like I think we conflate the two. And
oh yeah.
I mean, I do it myself. So I just am like, if you're hungry, obviously you should eat. If you're actually hungry, you should obviously eat. And if you're eating real food, when you are hungry, you won't be having to sit around waiting when your next meal is supposed to be, because you're going to be comfortable until that's supposed to be. So this is even just more psychologically, like if you're sitting around waiting to eat, like there's a really deep rooted issue there.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that,
not that I'm not saying putting people down who like I eat food. Obviously, we all eat. We're alive. I just mean like if it's so obsessive to the point that you're like, oh, when do I get to eat again? When do I get to eat again? I'm like, hold on, that's a little scary.
Listen, when I'm hungry, there's nothing else I care about. When I'm hungry, I need to eat. And it sounds so simple to say that, but I remember like when I was younger, being a child, and if I'd be out on like a weekend or something running errands with my parents, and then it'd be 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I say, I'm hungry, like actually hungry, and they're like, no, well, like we're gonna eat in an hour. We're gonna stop for lunch and go to the food court or whatever. We'll eat in an hour, or we'll eat at 12 or whatever. I'm like, but I'm hungry now. And then the whole rest of the time until we're waiting to eat, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm grumpy. I'm like in a bad mood, and I can't even focus or enjoy what we're doing now as a family together.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm hungry. And I'm like, as an adult, there's a lot of freedom as an adult when you're like, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat something. Like you don't have to obsess, because literally when I get hungry, that's the only thing I care about is I'm like, I need to eat something.
Yeah.
But that's also a product of evolution and biology, in that your body's like sending when you're hungry, your body's sending alarms to your brain.
Yeah.
That like you need to eat right now. And that is the only thing you should care about.
Yeah.
Right. Can you imagine just sitting there? Huh?
I said, well, yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine just sitting there when you're hungry and just being like, nope, can't eat. Nope, can't eat. Nope, can't eat. But you're still obsessing about the food that you're not allowing yourself to eat. So like, I get the point of this is life's too short to just spend it waiting for the next time you'll let yourself eat.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, it's not like me. Yesterday we needed to eat, but we didn't eat. Like to me, it's word. I don't know. I guess because I'm putting it together with what her point ahead was, and I'm like, okay, so now we're reaching food and diet stuff or whatever. And to me, it's just like, I guess I interpreted that as like, the fact that she's like, get rid of your damn calorie thing, it makes me think, screw your meal plan that you might have set up for yourself too. That's how I'm like, it's too short to sit around the next time you can eat. And I'm like, are you just kind of like, I'm not saying if you're hungry, you should eat. Like 100% you should eat. But also you shouldn't just eat if you're bored. Like I don't know. I guess those two things together, it made me feel like she was sort of saying like, if you got a meal plan, life's way too short to be sitting around and waiting for the next time you planned to eat or the next thing you planned to eat type of thing.
The next time you'll allow yourself to eat.
So, and to me,
it's directed at restrictive eating is what it is. That's the point of that.
And
it's
so to me, I'm like, I mean, I think that's, again, I don't know that that's I get, obviously, yes, you should never starve yourself. I don't think people should starve themselves. But I don't know that that's a great blanket piece of advice depending on like everything else she's kind of lumped. I don't know what the next one is. I assume it's going to be about food. Is like, a discussion we should be having. We need to have healthier relationships and conversations about like food and what being healthy even means anyway. But I guess I like agree and don't agree. I guess I don't think anybody should starve themselves by any means. But I'm also like, if you just have an unhealthy relationship with food where when you're bored, you just want to eat and that's why you're thinking about it, not because you're hungry. That's because I've literally done that. That's where I'm like, that's just unhealthy.
Well, if you're bored eating, then you're not waiting
waiting until it's technically okay for me to eat. And then I'm like,
but if you're actually bored eating, you're just consuming whatever you want when you're bored. You're not restricting yourself until the next time you allow yourself to eat. So
I don't know. I don't know that I mean, yeah, life's too short to starve yourself. I mean, don't starve yourself.
Life's also too short to not eat cake. Like, bitch, please. I enjoy food. Yeah. I like good tasting stuff. And life is too short to just be like, I can only eat these things at these times and I'll freak out if I don't. And I'm like, life is too short to starve yourself, but life is also too short to not eat tasty food.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a balance, but I think there's a line between constantly indulging yourself and like just setting yourself up for like good habits. Like, obviously, if I go out to eat and there's dessert and I want dessert, like I don't go out to eat every day. So I'm like, if I want dessert, I'm going to get dessert. Do I need cake every single day? No, because I went to the doctor and my cholesterol is high. So there's just there's realities to what we put in our bodies. So I'm like, I'd rather be able to eat cake until I'm 90 and live to be longer and then just, eat cake versus like I ate cake every day and I died before, when I was 40. So I'd rather eat cake till I'm 90.
The moral of the story is if you eat cake every single day, you're going to die by the time you're 40. Next.
I agree. And I agree. I agree, but I don't know that I agree with the tone.
I agree with the sentiment kind of.
Yeah. Like, don't starve yourself. I'm not an advocate for starving yourself by any means. Please don't do that.
Number 18, your body will eventually force you to slow down. So choose to while you still have a choice.
I haven't reached that part yet, so I don't know.
Of like your body forcing you.
I'm 31. It hasn't forced me yet.
I think that obviously there comes a time you reach a certain age, your body starts to deteriorate. We're all human. That's just how it goes. I do think that while you're young enough and you do still have the opportunity and the choice, you should be doing things to help you keep your ability to move and extend it. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you should be doing some sort of physical activity while you still can, some sort of either weight training or flexibility or just like range of motion. You should be doing things that like allow you to keep doing those movements and moving your body. Because if you set those foundations up when you're young enough to still do it, it helps ease the transition into slowing down more.
Well, yeah. I mean, not to mention, it's proven that like if you do weightlifting now, it helps your bone density for when you're older. Also, get that heart strong now because you can recover more easily now because all your other organs and everything else in your body can recover better. I mean, it's just you're setting yourself up to be healthier, and it's a lot easier to maintain your health versus like when you're at a point when your body has deteriorated some, and now you're working with like rusty bones.
I think this also can apply not just to aging.
Yeah.
But also putting yourself under so much stress.
Yeah.
If you're constantly go all the time and you have, high pressure job or you have so many things that are on your plate consuming you, that can lead to burnout very quickly.
Yeah.
And it can also, and I mean, that's just a whole other can of worms in terms of like your mental health, your physical health. So like you need to maybe take stock of your priorities and try to pace yourself because life is a marathon. It is not a sprint.
Yeah.
And if you just keep sprinting, you will get to a point where your body doesn't let you anymore. Like your mental battles and struggles, and even just not sleeping well, not eating well, not moving your body enough, like that will eventually catch up to you and your body will force you to slow down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you see so many people that, have high pressure jobs eventually end up with high cortisol levels and from stress and not working out enough and not eating right. And then they end up with heart attacks and their body said, stop.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. I mean, even like, if you have mental health struggles and you're not treating them, or if you're not, what's the word? If you're not acknowledging them and trying to do something about them, eventually they will manifest themselves physically.
Yeah.
Like you'll get tired. Your body will start to ache in ways you're like, I didn't hurt myself. I didn't injure myself. Why does this hurt?
Yeah.
Your body said, slow down, bitch.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. Number 19, there's a difference between having goals and being consumed by everything you're not.
Yeah, like, why are those related? What do you mean? Like, there's a difference between having goals and being consumed. And how do you interpret that? Like, what does that mean?
I mean, having goals, I think, is more in like a positive connotation.
Yeah.
Versus being consumed with everything you're not is more negative, right? So I think it's a framing issue. So, when you have goals, typically it's like, I want to achieve this thing and here's the steps I'm going to make to get to that thing. And then when I do achieve it, it's a positive, and then I move on to the next goal and the next thing. And it's something to work toward, helps keep you motivated.
Yeah.
And it's beneficial in some way, right? However, if setting a goal is more about like, if you set yourself like unachievable or unattainable goals, I think that's more about like being consumed with the things that you're not. So like it's more negative in terms of, I'm not XYZ things, or I don't have XYZ things, or I haven't achieved XYZ things. And then you focus so much on what you haven't done. And then you're like, okay, well, I need to do these things because that'll give my life some meaning or give me some self-worth or whatever. And I think and there is a difference. I think it's a fine line, but there is a difference between setting goals and achieving them or trying to achieve them versus like being so consumed with everything that you haven't done or achieved, but keep trying to do, and then it's just not like realistic or attainable. Or maybe like you set a goal, but you're not actually implementing steps to achieve it. And then all you can focus on is, I'm never going to be that thing. I'm never going to achieve that thing that I want to do. But it's like self-sabotage almost in a way, because you're not actually taking active steps to achieve that goal. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I took it as.
Okay. Say that one more time.
There's a difference between having goals and being consumed by everything you're not.
Yeah, I guess I obviously don't think they're the same thing. I guess the way you explained it, I understand it that way. But the way that when I heard that, I was kind of like, that feels like comparing apples to oranges to me. Like, I guess it's like, yeah, I think if you have a personal goal that you want because you want it, it's 100% different than setting goals to be like other people. Like that I understand, but there's a lot of internalization with her, I've noticed. She's like, everything you're not. A lot of her stuff's been that. Even like the parts of yourself you try to hide or whatever. I'm like, these are really introspective. Yes.
Well, these are things that would have revolutionized the 20s had you known.
Yeah, had she known. I think that your goals need to be about you and what you want.
It should be about what you want and not focus so much on what you don't have. And I know that sounds like the same thing, but it's different, I promise. And I think it's more about framing and perspective and like how you treat yourself and talk to yourself internally about those things that you want.
Well, yeah, it's also like, why do you want that thing? And there doesn't have to be this deep reason as to why you want it. Maybe you just want to look a certain way. Maybe you just want this type of thing, or maybe all those. I think that your goals still have to be about you and not about, I only want this thing because this other person has it type of a thing. So like, yeah, I think that there is a fine line between what you want for yourself versus what you want to be like others, even though like you, in any other world, you wouldn't want it. So that's just a waste of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah, I mean, I would agree.
And I think even the phrasing on this point, like having a goal versus being consumed by everything you're not, right? So like having a goal means that you have something you're working toward and trying to achieve. You're taking actionable steps to do it. And that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're so consumed, meaning that's all you ever think about is what you don't have and what you haven't achieved yet. And like, that's a whole other.
But like, that's what I
beast of a
felt.
thing.
Yeah. I felt like they were just too, they were like there was like a thread holding those 2 points together. Cause it just, one felt like, well, yeah, that makes sense. The other one, I'm like, oh, this is like, we took a really, really solid left turn and we're comparing these two. So that's why I was a little confused to why.
You're like, no, there is a difference between having them, which is what the point says. There's the difference between having goals and being consumed by everything
I just
else.
thought they were going to be a little more related. So yeah, they're very different.
I feel like they're pretty related. Number 20, and this is the last one that we'll do today. Your discipline doesn't have to be a weapon you use against yourself. It can be a tool you use to love yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes that discipline could be what you're going to allow in your life and the relationships you're going to allow in your life and how people talk to you, or what you even allow to enter in that front door, or the discipline to have the correct self-care, do your face, put your face care on. That's me right now. That's my discipline.
Like,
I'm trying to
wash your face and do your skincare.
Yeah. Like, it's just like discipline doesn't always mean restrictive things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it means like, I'm going to have the discipline to take care of myself,
Mm-hmm.
which sometimes, discipline doesn't mean just go to the gym and eat right. It means other things too.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I agree. Yay!
Okay.
Yippee!
And we are done with that segment. Woo.
She like has hits or misses for me.
Yeah, some of them on this list are very, I was like, okay, I get what we're saying. I feel like this applies. And some of them I'm like, I don't know about that.
I'm like, you experienced all this? Is all she's covered a lot of bases for a single human.
I mean, in your 20s, that's a decade.
Yeah.
20s.
I'm like, okay. So our discussion for the day, we didn't know what we want to talk about, but we found this. And it is what?
Is pop culture actually worse now, or are people just aging out of it? So The Atlantic ran a piece last year on the idea that Americans have increasingly see the 2020s as a weak era for music, movies, fashion, TV, and sports. Why do we think that is?
Well, I think it's because we're all virtue signaling fake keyboard warriors, where every single piece of media, every song, anytime somebody tries to put a spin on anything personal, somebody has to point out why it's wrong. Even down to like, for instance, Sabrina Carpenter has a song called Taste. And there's a line where she's like, just know you'll taste me too. Basically, the song, like talking to the girl that's going to get with the guy that Sabrina used to be with. Just know I had him too as well. And you're going to taste me there.
And like, it's the taste being a metaphor for like my influence on him as a person.
Yeah.
You're going to feel that. So just know that when you're with him, part of who he is now has been formed by his relationship with me. And you're going to feel my influence on him.
And I remember when that came out, everybody felt the type of way about it. And they were like, oh my gosh. And how dare she even say that? How's that? It was just this whole thing where I'm like, why can't we just have personal experiences and feel a type of way and put that out in media to be related against? Because guess what? I'm sure a lot of people have felt that way, where they're like, you can have him, but just know I'm kind of there. Because there are stages to how you feel about a situation or how you decide to talk about it with your friends. And I just feel like everything is so calculated and dissected and sanitized to try to please everybody, and nobody can have any morally grayness about them anymore because we're all expected to just be perfect when it's just fake. And that's why I think we have such a huge mental health issue now too, is because God forbid some people just got qualities you don't like, and we now have to crucify them for it when it's not a crime. it's not a crime to actually be kind of a dick or an asshole or to not like what other people like and to vocalize that's not a crime. But we make it like it's one online. And now you want to wonder why you don't have real friendships or people get so betrayed or you feel like you don't know people anymore. Yeah, because people can't show who they are because if they're not prim and proper and sanitized and perfect, people don't like them. So every piece of media that's put out often now feels like there's no rawness or realness to it because it's nobody's voice because it all has to go through all these channels. Let's make sure every gender and every race and every religion has viewed this piece of media to make sure it pisses off nobody.
And when arguably the best art throughout history, no matter the medium, is art that pushes boundaries and that forces introspection and even conversation. It challenges the norm. The best art is stuff that gets people talking, and people don't talk about stuff that they agree with all the time.
No.
Like it's just like, oh yeah, I saw that, I liked it. That's it. No, like I want something to challenge me. Like I want my art to make me ask questions.
It's the whole point. The whole point is it's like you said, it's supposed to push boundaries and it's supposed to make us grow as people and see perspectives that we're not used to seeing. And now it's being able to relate to people I might not think I could ever relate to. And it just feels as if there's nothing individual now to set anybody apart. I mean, that's not true. There are some people that put things out that I'm like, oh, I really enjoyed that. But I do feel like the mainstream artist, like when people say, oh, cinema's dead. We were talking about this yesterday. Like when they're like, cinema's dead. It's like, well, the idea that people could be individuals, put out a story, and it, like you said, it pushes boundaries or anything like that, that it's like dying because we don't like that, it's canceled. And because if you even, it's like you're promoting bad this or you're promoting bad that. This is promoting whatever culture, and it's just like not everything can be morally perfect. Like at that point, we're not. This whole idea that we're supposed to be perfect and that just is what it is. That's insane. Like nobody can relate to that. And I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons I feel like, especially the younger generations, they have such mental health problems is this idea that they're being held to it's an impossible standard. Mm-hmm. And it's all online. And that's what's crazy too, is like it's the online standard of how you're expected to act, think, speak, portray yourself, and you're supposed to just be perfect. You're supposed to cover your bases and make sure you have every caveat for every conversation you have, even though we were having in the beginning. Obviously, we're not talking about people who had a one-night stand or they got pregnant and didn't mean to, but like, oh, let's make sure we have to caveat every single thing and put disclaimers for who we're not talking about, because otherwise, like, that's ridiculous.
Have you seen the post about, online culture has devolved into, if someone says, I love waffles, there's going to be somebody in the comments saying, oh, so you hate pancakes? There's always going to be somebody who's like, oh, so going to demonize you for what you say or you're putting words in my mouth. That's not what I said.
Or remember the bean soup thing? Well, can you put out a recipe that substitutes beans? Literally, no. Literally not my job. Literally,
I made a recipe for bean soup. There's beans in it. If you don't like beans, this is not the recipe for you. There are tons of other recipes you can go find that don't have beans. Why are you in my comments asking me for substitutes for the beans?
Or people that go, what about gluten-free options? You have free will. Go figure out what gluten-free options are for you. I don't need it to be. Like, it is insane the amount of, like, not everybody cannot consider every type of person that lives on the planet. That is not realistic. It's ridiculous.
And I also think that it doesn't make for good pop culture or good art.
No.
It doesn't. And I think some of it does relate back to, which again, we talked about yesterday, it relates back to consumerism. So much art and pop culture, when we're talking about movies, music, television shows, anything, like any sort of medium, fashion, sports, a lot of it, it's all driven by consumerism. And the people that are making the choices about what gets advertised, what they're going to put their money behind and support to put out in front of the masses, the people making those decisions are trying to recoup their investment. They're trying to make their money back and make money on top of that money, right? So obviously, if they're trying to make money, they're going to try and support and put money behind the projects they think are going to appeal to the vast majority of people. which I think then leads to you get these sanitized versions of movies, TV shows, whatever, music. You know, it's all sanitized, and like you said, it's whittled down to remove any sort of potential conflict point or controversy from it, because they're like, God forbid somebody doesn't like this and doesn't give us their money. So I think consumerism plays too much of a role in art and pop culture, and that makes it boring.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm tired of being bored. I'm like, I need dopamine.
No, literally. I mean, even down to like, it said sports, and I'm like, Formula One's like that. Look at these stupid ass regulations. These suck. If you don't know, you can go look at our other content. But essentially, there's a lot of let's go green. I don't need them to do that.
In terms of
like the driver or the cars and everything like that. You know, they're trying to change the technology of, oh, look, we're going to have this type of fuel. Or,
to be more environmentally friendly.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that's like, I don't need race cars. That doesn't need to be their responsibility. They're not on the track every day, honey. That needs to be the people that are running their like machines every day, who are running these
factories.
Plants every day. Like those are the people that need to figure that shit out, not the people that 24 times a year race a race car. That's not what is causing the environmental problems. And once again, though, like you said, it's the consumerism. Oh, look how it looks great for the branding of look what the sport's trying to do. And it's
but
like,
it leads to like
it's
boring results.
as fuck.
Yeah, I think consumerism does play a role in making pop culture worse. I think there are a lot of people that are afraid to step out away from the sanitized version or to do anything interesting or challenging or different. But you'll notice that the people that do step out and do something different and try something that's more authentic or to themselves or just push the boundaries, they tend to be more successful when it does hit right. Because not everyone is it takes a lot. It's a combination of like preparation, opportunity, and good old fashioned luck. When some of these things hit and become more mainstream or more popular. I mean, look at like Chappell Roan, I think is a great example of a modern artist who said, fuck everything about the establishment and about what they're trying to make me become and do. I'm going to do what I want. This is my art. I'm going to put it out. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
And she's had massive success by going against the grain and doing what she wants to do because she's trying to tell her story in an authentic way, right? But again, part of that is preparation, opportunity, and luck that she hit at the right time with the right song that blew up and then has given her the opportunity to keep going. I think that there's this, some people talk about oversaturation when it comes to pop culture and entertainment and media, where we have so many different things competing for our attention. There's like too many options.
Yeah.
But they're all so similar that nothing stands out. It's all just beige.
Yeah, that's why that's why I just watch the shows I already liked. I just watched New Girl, The Office. I'll just watch those again before sometimes I pick up something new because I'm like,
is this even worth my time?
Yeah,
is
like,
it going to be interesting enough?
Is this just the same exact thing but just a different font?
Yeah.
Like, does this show already exist on Hulu or Peacock and it's just like, and bold?
Yeah. I mean, I think that a great example of like oversaturation, and this even ties into like franchises and stuff too, where, if you take the superhero movie as like a genre or the TV show, superhero TV show, right? There's so many. There's too many. Like, I just don't care about the next superhero, like the new Spider-Man movie coming out. Don't really care to see it. I don't think I even saw the last one.
No.
So it's a case of there's too much. It's too same. The last time I got excited about like a superhero TV show or movie that came out was WandaVision.
Oh, yeah.
And that was because that show was something it's taking established characters from the TV franchise. And it was such a different format and such a different sort of premise and take on a superhero TV show that I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is different. It's breaking the mold of what we know superhero stuff, storytelling to be, right? That was cool and interesting. Now there's so many superhero TV shows, and I'm just like, this is boring. I don't care. What are we doing?
Why? Yeah, streaming like ruined everything. Because what sucks is like I love streaming, but it like literally ruined everything. Because now there's so before streaming, there was limited slots that TV shows got, and you either made it or you didn't.
It created a demand, and like what's it called, appointment viewing, where like there's a limited availability and time that you're going to be able to say that you can catch the original airing, and they might do a rerun like later in the night.
Yeah.
And that's it. You don't get to see it again unless they decide to re-air it, or you have to go buy the DVD.
Yep, that's why
Blu-ray
DVR was awesome too.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. It did create, whether we're talking about movies in theaters or we're talking about airing, TV shows that air one episode a week until the season isn't over, like it creates appointment viewing, and you have to sit and watch it then. You can't be on your phone because you can't just rewind it to go watch it again. You need to pay attention. But then also, everyone that you know is going to be talking about this thing for the next couple of days. So you can't miss out because you're not going to be part of the conversation. And like you said, streaming has taken that sort of impetus. It's taken that away.
Oh yeah, there's so many different shows. Movies always had the independent scene, right? But now it is just so many new shows, so many new movies, and it's just like it's ruined the idea of like a movie, like going to the theater, which I still love. I love that formula. I don't want that to go anywhere. I enjoy that. I think that's a cultural thing. I hate the idea that we all are just like, okay, well, we can just all sit at our house all the time by ourselves and watch this and then not have a discussion, not see how other people reacted to it. We're not connecting. Like the theater was it was like a connection we could have.
Yeah, it was a communal viewing experience.
Yeah, and now it's like, not to mention what's even more annoying is every 2 seconds I'm having to pay. Like, so the whole point of a streaming service too, like Netflix used to be like, oh, it's cheap. It's cheaper. Cool. It's like $10. No, it used to be like $7 or whatever. And you didn't have ads because everything was just old content anyway that they had contracts with, and they would just have TV shows or movies. And then they did start to create their own shows, but it wasn't all the time. They had, I think House of Cards was the first one.
House of Cards and Orange is the New Black were like the first two.
And but now they're constantly doing a Netflix original. So no fucking wonder I have to pay more because now Netflix is a production company who is producing their own content all the time. And so, of course, now I'm helping you produce that content. And sure, I get to watch it, but like at the same time, it's not like...
It's too much.
It's way too much.
It's oversaturation.
Hulu does the same thing. Like, it's just too fucking much. And I'm like, everyone's just trying to get that bag. And it's all about money. And it's just all these, it all just goes back to just a few billionaires in the world running everything and ruining our lives.
Yeah. And I think that even when it comes to storytelling, if we're talking about like the production companies and the people making the choices about what films get made and what TV shows get made, it is very rare now that something gets made that's truly an original screenplay or work. Almost everything now is based on existing IP. So that's intellectual property, for those who don't know. So, we're talking sequels. We're talking remakes and reboots of things that already exist that people have some sort of nostalgic connection to. We're talking adaptations of video games. We're talking adaptations of written works and books, especially. When was the last time you saw like an original screenplay that was like a rom-com that wasn't based on a book?
I don't know.
I don't know either. When was the last time you saw just any sort of romantic movie or any sort of like movie based on relationships or family dynamics that wasn't based on an already established work? Truly original screenplay.
Couldn't tell you. No idea.
And that's a problem. I think that's truly a problem. Like everything, they're relying on existing IP because these production companies don't want to take a risk. And it comes back to wanting to appeal to the most people and make the most money they can, which, I mean, again, that they're in the business of making money. You can't really super like fault them for that.
I can. How dare you? Because it worked before and y'all were still making money and you've ruined everything.
So they basically want proof of concept. They want proof that there is already an established audience that will support this project when it comes out because they supported it in a different format. So, I mean, it's just exhausting. It's exhausting that I have to filter out all this garbage to find the diamond in the rough.
It's ridiculous that in order to go watch a good show, I need to just... I mean ridiculous in the sense of a show hasn't been made again. So basically, I just need to go watch The Sopranos. Because everything's trash. I need to go watch The Sopranos and watch everything pre-2015 is what you're telling me. That's how it feels. I wonder if that's why people feel really, I feel like there's been this huge like people really enjoy like comedy now, like comedians and like comedians podcasts and stand up. And I wonder if that's because that's like one of the only things that like you're rewarded for being your style and yourself in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I do hate that comedians have gotten involved in politics. I just am like some of them, and that's a fucking ick for me. Like, I think comedians are obviously smart. I don't think that they're dumb by any means, but I also think like stay in your lane to a degree. I don't love that. I don't think that you, especially certain people who have such a large voice, did not consider their actions when they had some people on and exposed certain people that I'm like, bro, why?
I think if you're a comedian and that's how you identify and you want to talk about politics, make it funny.
Yes, like it's
like, I don't care if you talk about it, just make it funny. Make a point. Don't just grandstand or be like this serious think piece about politics or take a position on an issue. Like, just be fucking funny.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not saying, obviously people are allowed to have their stuff, but it just feels like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. There's certain people that I'm like, why'd y'all do that? What the hell?
I mean, you can talk about, look at, we've got John Oliver, we've got Stephen Colbert, we've got Jon Stewart.
Jimmy Kimmel.
But
those are late night hosts that to me, I mean, they're comedians, but they're different than like podcasts and like stand up. They don't do like, I mean, they do, but like not, they're just like late night, hosts. They've always talked about politics. So to me,
but they do it in a funny way. Like, or they crack jokes about it.
Oh yeah. I mean,
they're not sitting most of the time, or even if they are talking about a serious issue, they're still making jokes in between or calling out hypocrisies or being like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like there's still humor injected into it.
Yeah. I just feel like, why are there comedians interviewing politicians? I don't understand that part. Like, I just don't. I'm not. I get why the politicians would want to do it.
Yeah.
But I just am like, this is supposed to be haha funny. I don't know. But I guess my point before I derailed my point was, I wonder if that's why there's been like such a growth in comedy, is because it's one of the only, like, every like special we get in a way, or every most of the episodes that we get from these comedians, there's not like, it feels like them authentically often. And I wonder if that's just why we've seen a growth in comedy. Because I feel like there's been a growth. I feel like a lot more people
they've lost the filter, right? They've lost we're talking about what bores us with pop culture now, with movies, music, TV. What bores us is the sanitization of it. Mm-hmm. It's the making it all same.
Yeah.
The comedians are the ones that are breaking through, and they're the ones that are having a unique or different viewpoint, or they're the ones that they're like, we're not afraid to say the thing that everyone else in the whatever is afraid to say. Like, we're just going to say it. And like, that's refreshing. That's what we want. I mean, there's a reason that like the even like A24 as a production, like a studio that puts out movies.
Yeah.
That's why they've become so popular in the last 5-6 years, because they're very particular about the projects they take on and choose to tell stories about.
Yeah.
That's why they've become so popular. And it's one of those things where, there's certain directors that people are like, this is a must see. No matter what movie this director puts out, that is a must see movie. I feel like A24 has become that production studio. That like, no matter what they put out, people are like, I'm going to go see it because they've built that.
I know. And then sometimes, they do scary horror stuff. And I'm like, I'm scared. I don't want to see it. Scared.
You're like, we do horror. And you're like, not my cup of tea.
I'm scared. Put out like a slice of life next. Yeah, I'm like, I need more movies like Little Miss Sunshine. I need more movies like, I like Brokeback Mountain. I think Brokeback Mountain's one of the best movies I've seen. I need more movies like Taxi Driver. Like, let the people tell their stories, damn it. Let's let it happen. Like you said, original ideas. Please. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we are going to end it there for this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you have a story that you want to tell us, we do a segment it's called Why Are You Yelling?, where we like for our listeners and viewers to send us stories about times when they were yelling or being yelled at, or if you just have a question, or if you want some life advice. We are not professionals, but we like to give advice sometimes. You can submit those stories to
wayypod.storytime@gmail.com. So wayypod.storytime@gmail.com. Also, any just funny story would be great. Honestly, it would just be hysterical.
And we'll read them on air
Yes.
and talk about it and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much
Oh, yeah.
it.
Don't forget our questions. We would love to hear from you. Our question was, what conversations do you think people need to be having and they aren't having?
Mhm.
How do you feel about those 5 things we discussed that would have revolutionized that girl's 20s?
Uh-huh.
And do you think pop culture is just boring now? And if you do, why?
Yeah. And please, we mentioned this in previous episodes, please actually do leave comments because we, meaning Jessica, will reply to them and interact with you. We actually do really enjoy when we get comments and get to talk to you guys in the comments. So
yes, it's fun.
Please, 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 if you have something to say, don't be afraid to say it.
Do not. Okay, well, we will talk at you next time.
Bye.